Well, first of all, good afternoon. It's nice to see everybody. And let me just start by saying, pace yourself. This is a long party. 10 o'clock seems like a lifetime away. But I can tell you that as somebody who got here yesterday, and I'm Gary Williams, by the way, it's nice to see everybody. This is Kathy Penick Powell, and this is Charles Penick. And Kathy just said to me, you know, I've never been interviewed before. Do you realize as an interview, that's very intimidating? It really is, Kathy. But their name is not only associated with the history of this amazing club, it's synonymous with it. So let me just say on behalf of the membership, the staff, everybody who is presently associated with this club, but most importantly, anybody who has ever been associated with Austin Country Club. The Penick family means everything to this place. And so it is a great pleasure to see you both and to have you and for your willingness to come up here and talk about your dad, your grandfather,
No,
and then
my
also,
uncle.
Pardon me?
He was my uncle.
Your uncle, yes, your uncle. So thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Kathy, let me start with you. You said something to me that you need to explain to everybody. You said, you know, I didn't start playing golf until after I was married. You're growing up in a household with one of the most respected, distinguished voices in the history of golf. Why didn't you have any interest in playing golf, being around your dad until after you got married?
I just didn't have much interest in golf, and he wasn't the type of person that would push you into something if you weren't interested. When you became interested in it, then he was all there for you. But he wasn't one of these parents that say, come on, you got to do this, and I'm so thankful for that.
Which is a great lesson for any parent.
Right.
Whether it's today or any day going forward. It's interesting because I have heard that in talking today to a number of people who have history here and a lot of history here, that he was so positive with people. He never accentuated negative things in their golf swing, the way that they played. He focused on positive things. What are your reflections?
I regret that I didn't take advantage of somebody that famous when I was a kid. I took some lessons from him, but not nearly enough.
What do you remember about a lesson with Harvey Penick?
It was something hard to do. What he would tell you to do, he was correcting an error, but it was very informative. And I really regret I didn't take more lessons from him. I played golf, but it wasn't anything seriously.
When somebody has a job for their whole life, it says a lot about them because they're around people every day. What are the things that you remember most about your dad, the qualities that were so endearing and so impactful on you?
Well, you're thinking of him as a golfer. I think of him as my, not dad, our father, but my daddy. And he was always there for me. And I had bad dreams at night, and I'd wake up and he would be there for me. And he didn't push me to do anything, but he was the type of person that you didn't want to disappoint him. So you don't want to do anything that would disappoint him. I can't exactly explain it, but like I said, he was just my daddy, and I didn't think of him as a professional. I did when he babysat me. Now this is my first lesson. He paid me to hit golf balls, out there, because he was the babysitter, and that was my entertainment. So anyway, that might be interesting. But
So how much did he pay you to hit golf balls?
I think it was a nickel.
A nickel?
Something like that.
You had to be incentivized. I mean, a nickel probably felt
I
like
had
a lot of money.
money. That's right.
As far you mentioned about taking lessons from him and that it could be challenging. Was there anything that you experienced in taking the lessons that you took with Harvey did you have any light bulb moments with him?
Oh, I was around him most of my life.
Yeah.
And I would say Harvey was a gentleman's gentleman. He was just a kind soul that everybody loved him.
It's hard to really imagine that he's been gone as long as he has. And obviously, we're going to have Tom and Ben up here a little bit later to reflect on not only his life, but also the club. Why do you think he got so much joy out of what he did and did every day for decades, for generations of people?
He loved the game and he loved people.
It was that simple.
Well, that's my impression.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, in terms of people, you mentioned him, and this is the fun part for me is that I would prefer you not talk about him as the instructor because people have read a lot about his teachings, his lessons, which he was kind of like a philosopher. It was almost like he was not only teaching golf, he was teaching, as you said, gentlemanly etiquette, things that you would want to impart upon other people. Your dad. Did your dad have a sense of humor? Did you ever see your father laugh out loud?
Oh, I can remember him. This was one funny thing. He brought this book home to my mother, and she opened it, and all these snakes flew out. And that was a big, one thing of his sense of humor.
Speaking of books, all of his writings that turned into one of the best-selling books of all time, did that astound you?
Oh, yes, it did. It did. My husband, Bill, he said, oh, it's going to be a great book. It's going to be sell all over the world. But I thought, no. But I was surprised. So
You had trepidation that it wasn't going to do that well.
I thought, yeah, it's going to be a book, but
It's not going to be a New York Times bestseller,
That's
the biggest
right.
golf-selling book of all time. You
That's
didn't
right.
anticipate that.
no, not at all.
Yeah. How about you, Charles? Did you read that book and say, yeah, I got that lesson?
I've read that book probably 15 times, and I see something in there that thinking, boy, I didn't see that the last time. I mean, that book is unbelievable how well written it is about golf and life. And it's just it's Harvey.
Right. I think part of it, and I think part of why his legacy not only endures here, but really everywhere, is there was an authenticity to him. There was a tenderness to the way that he was with people, which maybe people don't experience a lot of that. And what's interesting, Kathy, to me, is that he was a teenager when he got the job. We could sit here for 100 lifetimes, and a teenager is not going to be the head pro at one of the best clubs in
I know,
America.
that's
again.
amazing to me, too.
It's extraordinary, isn't
I
it?
mean, I can't fathom it.
Why do you think that he was capable of that position at such a young age? Obviously, you started to understand your father when he was a grown adult man. He'd experienced life. Why do you think maybe he was capable of taking on the position at such a young age?
I can't answer that. I've thought about that a lot, and I just can't fathom it. Actually.
Sure. How about you, Charles? Why do you think a 19-year-old?
I think the people saw something in Harvey that they loved and wanted him to be there. I mean, he started out as a caddy. He and my dad started out as caddies there, and knew all the members through that. And I'm sure that was a good job interview for him.
Absolutely. The club itself, from Hancock Park to Riverside to here, The Penick family has always been the constant. What about this club? Why do you think, Kathy, he was always happy? Because if you're good at something, other people may want your services, but he never went anywhere. He was always here, whether it was here, his contributions as the coach of the University of Texas. Why do you think he was always content at this club?
Because he never accepted failure. And I mean, and he would not let you downgrade anything. Everything was positive, not negative, no. Positive, yes, always. So he had that positive outlook. And maybe when he was younger, he thought, I can do this. And so he did it.
He did it his whole life.
His whole life.
Yeah. Charles, do you think that because he impacted so many people, I naturally, I cover golf. The fact that he worked with two men who virtually the same age, grow up, have Hall of Fame careers, but beyond that, Kathy Whitworth and Sandra Palmer and Betsy Rawls, he worked with Hall of Fame players. But you probably believe that he got as much enjoyment having somebody's handicap go from 13 to 9 over the course of a couple of years, didn't he?
I think so. Yeah, I think he took joy in giving golf lessons.
Kathy, what would you think of all this? 125 years of the club's history.
I can't think of it. I can't. It just is, but I can't believe it. And when I look around and see my dad's picture everywhere,
Does that give you a great source? Is it a great source of pride, humility,
Oh, yes.
gratitude, all of it probably?
a great sense of pride. But like I said, and even to this day, and I think it's kind of crazy that a person my age, which I'm not going to tell you right now, but
Actually, hold on a second. She did.
I did.
She said, "I've never been interviewed, and I'm not going to repeat." You told me. You told me.
That's right. But anyway, I still call him Daddy, and he's not my father, and he's not the golf pro, but he's my daddy, and that's the way I think about it.
Mm-hmm. Are there any photos you've seen here that you haven't seen? Or there's some you're going, "I've never seen that picture," or have you seen all of these?
I haven't looked at them all, but there's a lot of them I haven't seen.
Yeah. Charles, teaching today, kids want more information. There's data, there's video. Do you think that Harvey Penick would have had all this stuff, which would be at his disposal, or would the simple, fundamental things that he imparted upon people, do you think all that stuff would still be the way that he would teach?
I think Harvey was ahead of his time. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think he would not videotape, but reel-to-reel
Sure.
tape, and then go back and take segments of a student's golf swing. So I think he would be very happy to use the technology that we have today.
Kathy, last thing, as far as your dad's life gets celebrated still, which is fantastic.
That's something, and
It's really something. What are the things that you cherish most about your daddy?
thank you. I can't tell you, there were too many things. Just the person he was, and he was a fine Christian man, and that was first in his life. That's what I cherish most. And probably another thing is that he didn't push me into anything. And he was happy, even though I wasn't a great golfer. I did play, and I still do some. But he was proud of me no matter what I did. And I wanted to make him proud of me because of the person he was. I don't know.
Charles, how about you? what are the things you remember most about him? You mentioned people and how he loved people, but the things that still stand up today about him that are so redeemable.
Well, you know, I think he was just a wonderful person, and just, I mean, he was a purely wonderful person, and I think everybody that knew him loved him, and you know, I think I think, you know, that his stature in the game, of his stature of teaching in the game, and he was a good golfer. And I think that I think just his character was something that people remember.
Well, I said it at the beginning, I'll say it again. Both of you being here, I know means the world to the club. Thank you for sharing your thoughts about your daddy, your uncle, and somebody who was one of the great stewards in the history of the game of golf, and one of the great advocates for how golf can be nourishing and fulfilling. It's great to see you both. Thank you. And you're fighting the sniffles because of allergies, and you gamed through it. You were a fighter. Thank you for that. You were great. Thank you both.
Made it.